Welcome to Session 5, Dyslexia Initiatives in Topeka Public Schools, Session 5. I'm Robin Dixon, Pre-K through 5th grade ELA consulting teacher, and I will be your instructor for this session. Please note that the session says elementary. If you are an elementary teacher, you are in the right place. If you are a secondary teacher, there's a session designed especially for you called Session 5 Secondary. Please ensure that you have watched sessions 1 through 4 prior to viewing session 5. There are also places in the video for you to pause, jot, and reflect alone or with your colleagues. If you are watching this with your colleagues via Zoom or another platform, then you may work through this with your colleagues as well. So let's begin by reviewing our learning intentions. Today, we are reviewing the Kansas definition of dyslexia. We're reviewing what dyslexia is not. We are reviewing the elements of structured literacy presented in session 4. And today, our specific learning intentions focus on a deeper look into the first 3 components of structured literacy, which are phonology, sound-symbol relationship, and the 6 syllable types. You will know you are successful when you can list and describe the first 3 components of structured literacy and determine how you can implement these in the classroom. Let's begin by reviewing the Kansas definition of dyslexia as stated by the International Dyslexia Association. It says, a specific learning disability that is neurobiological in origin. It is characterized by difficulties with accurate and/or fluent word recognition and by poor spelling and decoding abilities. These difficulties typically result from a deficit in the phonological component of language that is often unexpected in relation to other cognitive abilities and the provision of effective classroom instruction. Secondary consequences may include problems in reading comprehension, and reduced reading experience that can impede both the vocabulary and background knowledge. Let's review what dyslexia is not. It is not a vision or hearing issue. It is not seeing letters in backwards, as popular belief would say. It is not attributable to limited intelligence. It is not due to low motivation or limited effort. In fact, students who are dyslexic are highly motivated and spend a great deal of effort learning to break the code of reading. It is not due to poor teaching. It is not rare. In actuality, 1 in 5 students comes to the classroom having some characteristics of dyslexia. It is also not a condition that can be outgrown. Let's pause, jot, and reflect on Module 4, which introduced you to all 6 components of structured literacy in a brief format. See if you can name the 6 elements of structured literacy. Reflect on how you have taught these 6 elements in the past, and how do you see yourself teaching these 6 elements in the future? Did you pause and reflect and get those? Did you list phonology, sound symbol, syllables, morphology, syntax, or semantics? Did you list one or all of them? Also keep in mind the principles of structured literacy as we're walking through this presentation. And those are that structured literacy should be taught explicitly, it should be taught systematically and cumulatively, and it should also be diagnostic in nature, so that we know where students are struggling and we know the exact place to fill those gaps. The 3 structured elements that we will be looking at today for structured literacy are phonology, which is the study of sound structure of spoken words, sound symbol. So once students have developed phoneme awareness, they must begin to learn the alphabetic principle, rather how to map phonemes to letters / graphemes and vice versa, so moving back and forth between letters and sounds. And finally, Syllables. Learning to deconstruct words into syllables helps readers become more familiar with the English language and increases capacity as decoders and spelling, because we are teaching students how to break down words into smaller components in order to sound out and decode a word. So pause, jot, and reflect for just a moment on phonemic and phonological awareness. They do look and sound very similar, but they do have different ideas that are involved in both of them. So what is phonemic awareness and what is phonological awareness? Pause the video and take time to discuss with your colleagues. When you are ready, start the video and continue to the next slide. Let's see how you did. So let's begin by looking at phonological awareness. Phonological awareness is the umbrella term for auditory language skills. It is a broad skill that includes identifying and manipulating units of oral language such as words, syllables, onsets, and rhymes. Children who have phonological awareness are able to make and identify rhymes, clap out syllables, and other skills as we go forward that you will see. So notice under phonological awareness, you will see some of those that I just mentioned. You will also see adding and deleting, substitution of sounds as well. There are also 4 levels that work together with phonemic awareness and phonological awareness. That is the word, the syllable. Level 3 moves on to onset and rhyme, and you'll notice level 4 moves to sound, which we would identify as phonemic awareness. So in phonological awareness, students need to realize that words are made of syllables. A student should be able to see that the word cat has 1 syllable, or the word dog has 1 syllable. He or she should also be able to see that the word today has 2 syllables, to being the first syllable, day being the second syllable. Or in the word tomorrow, that there are 3 syllables, to, mar, row. Recognizing and identifying the words in sentences. So students should be able to see and know that in the sentence, my cat is pretty, there are 4 words. Or in the sentence, it is raining, there are 3 words. Rhyme recognition. A student should be able to hear the rhyme. Again, remember that in phonological awareness, we are focusing on oral language. So if I ask a student if red and bed rhyme, the student should respond yes. Or if I say hog and log, those rhyme. But if I say, how about the words boy and bus, a student should say, no, those do not rhyme. They just would have the same beginning sound, but no rhyme. Syllable blending is blending words into syllables. For example, if I say butter and fly, can the student put those together to make the word butterfly? Or if I take the word mailbox, that word has 2 syllables, mail and box. Students should also be able to clap words into syllables. So if I clap butterfly, but-ter-fly, that word has 3 syllables. Or if I clap for today, to-day has 2 syllables. Syllable deletion. So when I say a multi-syllabic word with 2 or more syllables, I should be able to remove one of those syllables and the student should be able to tell me what is left. So for example, if I say the word sunshine, can you say this word without the shine? And the student would take that off and would be left with the word sun. Or if I take the word today, can you say this word without saying to? And the student would respond day. Again, this is all done orally. So if we look at phonemic awareness is the ability to identify and manipulate individual sounds, which we call phonemes, in spoken words. Phonemes are the smallest units comprising spoken language. And there are 44 phonemes in the English language. And it is how these 44 phonemes combine to form syllables and words. And as we work through phonemic awareness, you will see the same types of skills as in isolating and blending. Just remember that now we are manipulating sounds and we have moved on from just looking at things in an oral fashion. So phoneme isolation is the ability to isolate phonemes or sounds in whole words. For example, what is the first sound in the word house? And the student would respond. Or if I said, what is the last sound in the word house? The student would respond, S. Notice that S is the last sound, even though the last letter is E. Phoneme blending is the ability to blend phonemes into whole words. So if I said to a student, what do the sounds A, T make? The student would respond, hat. Or if I said, what sounds do what word do these sounds make? K, O, O, D. He or she would blend those to say the word cold. Phoneme segmentation is the ability to break down whole words into their individual sounds or phonemes. For example, what sounds are in the word space? S, A, S. Notice there are 5 letters, but 4 sounds. Or if I said, what are the sounds in the word shop? A student would respond, sh, ah, 4 letters, but 3 sounds because the SH combined to make one sound of sh. Phoneme deletion. This is the ability to delete phonemes or sounds from words. For example, say the word rake without the and the student would respond ache. Or if I say the word meat without the student would say eat. Phoneme substitution. This is the ability to substitute phonemes or sounds to make new words. So for example, if I took the word mouse and I removed the and changed it to a, the student would respond house. Or if I took the word cot and I said replace the t with a b, the student would respond cob. So when we look at teaching phonological and phonemic awareness, this is taught through our program in Topeka Public Schools of CR Success. It is a pre-K through 2nd grade program that teaches systematic phonics as well as phonological and phonemic awareness. And in grades 3 through 5, teachers would teach the ones that students are missing. So those 44 phonemes, teaching the ones that students are missing. And this would also be taught in grades 3 through 5 in small, skill-based groups. It is important to note that students who are at risk for reading difficulties struggle with phonological and phonemic awareness, particularly the ability to segment phonemes from whole words. Phoneme segmentation is a key indicator of a student being able to read. In fact, the effects of training of phonological awareness and learning to read are mutually supportive. Reading and phonemic awareness are mutually reinforcing. Phonemic awareness is necessary for reading, and reading in turn improves phonemic awareness still further, as quoted by Shaywitz in 2003. And science has told us exactly where dyslexic students struggle, and it is in this area. So as educators, it is our job to help students with their phonological and their phonemic awareness skills to help them further develop learning the code to read. So let's pause for just a moment and reflect on the following video. You will pause the video and put this bit.ly into your browser, and you will watch this video, and then you will talk with your colleagues if you have the ability to about what was new learning for you in this video and in this section of the presentation. Once you have paused the video and watched the next video, you may press play and proceed to the next slide. So let's move on to our second component of structured literacy, which is phonics. So phonics is making the connection between phonemes and their written symbols. So the connection between sounds and letters. Teaching letter-sound relationships, including sounds for common letter patterns so that a reader can decode words. And teaching of the alphabetic principle, which is the relationship between phonemes and graphemes. And research states that explicit phonics instruction improves a child's reading comprehension. Phonics teaches blending in a gradual release model using decodable text. So phonics instruction must be systematic and explicit. It involves direct teaching in a systematic sequence of skills. For example, you would teach digraph before tigraph. You also want to allow for substantial practice as students are learning these new phonics skills. They need time to practice and become proficient. And systematic and explicit phonics instruction significantly improves kindergarten and first grade children's word recognition and spelling. It also improves reading comprehension, as just mentioned. And it is also particularly beneficial for students who are having difficulty learning to read and who are at risk for developing further reading problems. And it also is most effective when introduced early. For example, kindergarten or first grade. And in our district, and through CR Success, we are beginning this process in preschool. So we are making sure that our students are on an early path to reading success. Again, as mentioned, CR Success teaches phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, and teaches phonics in a systematic way. And it also connects writing and spelling, as spelling is the end process of decoding. So if we have students who are English language learners in the area of Spanish, these students will need extra support and guidance with the phonemes on the next slide. These phonemes do not exist in Spanish or are represented in other letters, so systematic instruction will need to be given to students whose first language is Spanish. So let's look at those. We see short vowels as in CVC words. The SH sound has 7 spellings. Notice in this list we see SH, SION, TION. We also see ocean with CEAN. So students need to be taught those explicitly. Also the TH sound. Notice that in this and think, TH makes 2 very different sounds. We also have D. We also have H. We also have V. The ZH sound, which is measure and mirage. Notice one is an S and one is a G. So these need to be taught explicitly to our Spanish language learners. So as we have looked through phonics, please take a moment to pause the video and think about phonics instruction in your classroom. What does this look like? If you are a primary teacher, how is CR Success working in your classroom? Has that systematic instruction been a benefit to your students? If you're an intermediate teacher, how can you teach phonics to your students that need explicit instruction or students that come in with gaps? As we know that not all students will master all skills in the primary grades. You may pause the video and write your answers down and also reflect with your colleagues. Let's move on to our third component of structured literacy for this presentation, and that is syllable types. On the slide, you will see the 6 types of syllables. Also notice that it makes an acronym, CLOVER. C is for closed syllable, L is for consonant LE syllables. O is for open syllables. V is for vowel teams. E is for silent E. And R is for R-controlled vowels. So let's review the 6 syllable types. Number 1, we have a closed syllable. A closed syllable is simply one vowel followed by one or more consonants, and the vowel always makes a short sound. It always cuts off the vowel to be a short sound. So for example, bed, eh, is our short vowel sound, and it is a vowel followed by one or more consonants. An open syllable always ends in a vowel sound, and that is always long, as that vowel will continue forever. So if we look at decided, we could say D, it could continue on. Or if I say razor, razor. Notice that it's open syllable that continues on. And a vowel, consonant, silent E syllable is typically found at the end of the word. The final E is silent and makes the vowel to the left long, as in the word tile. Long I, consonant, silent E. A vowel team has 2 vowels that come together to say a sound. It could be a new sound, as in the word coin, O-I, joined together to say oi. Or if I look at the word bead, B-E comes together to make the long E sound. The next syllable type is consonant LE, and this is found in words such as handle, puzzle, and middle. And that syllable is always comprised of the consonant and the LE. So in handle, the syllable would be D-L-E. In puzzle, it would be C-L-E. And our final syllable type is an R-controlled vowel syllable. And this contains a vowel followed by the letter R. Oftentimes the R controls the vowel and changes the way it is pronounced, as in the word car. Notice that we've made a new sound. And sometimes the R controls the vowel in a different way, such as the word fern. Notice that in the word fern, we don't necessarily hear a vowel sound at all. So a great strategy to teach students to help decode multisyllabic words once you have taught them the 6 syllable types is something called spot and dot. And this is an application of decoding after teaching the syllable types. It teaches students to break a word into syllables and also teaches them that every syllable has a vowel. So there's a video that I would like you to pause this video to watch. I have concluded the bit.ly. And it is going to walk you through the questions to ask a student once you have taught them spot and dot in order for them to be able to decode words on their own. So please pause the video and then talk with your colleagues about what was new learning for you in that spot and dot video. So again, here is our slide to think about the 6 syllable types. Which ones are new to you? How can you teach syllable types in your classroom? And what are syllable, why is this an important component of structured literacy? So pause the video and answer the questions, please. And when you are ready, please hit the start button on the video. So let's review our learning intentions for today. Today we learned to identify the components of phonology, understand the components of sound-symbol relationships, and we learned to know the 6 syllable types as a component of structured literacy. We reviewed the first 3 components, and in the next video called Session 6, we will take a deeper look into the last 3 components of structured literacy. So let's see if you were successful. Can you list and describe the first 6 components of structured literacy? And can you determine how these can be implemented in your classroom? So thank you for taking time out to watch this video and continuing your learning about dyslexia and structured literacy.